Yo, man, I've literally been sleeping on the floor of the flight school here. Um, yeah, I mean, I guess I should do update. Like, I did that whole update video, um, what is that, a couple weeks ago already, and that time does fly. I think it is a bummer to basically lose passion in something that you felt so strongly about. And that's the thing with this channel. Like, fucking, I felt so strongly about this. This is literally, I did not care about anything else more than this. But at the same time, that was also mostly a short stretch that I felt that strongly about it. And then afterwards, I felt like I should be feeling that strongly about it, but then I'm, focusing too much on, the actual, like strategy behind it or whatever. That's definitely something that I feel like I would regret maybe a little bit, was that it started off with such a pure passion that the only mistake was to let anything besides the passion steer it. But it's also difficult in life. Like, not everything is a huge passion fest. But that's kind of what's led me to this. I feel so strongly about this aviation and stuff, and I really don't mind leaving behind the whole like uh, industry. Not that I was even like in the industry. That's something I got a homie that's like super legit. Like, he builds hash labs and stuff. And that's something that I think he would basically say that the influencers are not in the industry. So I don't know how to categorize it then. I guess the subject matter, the basically what I'm trying to say is I don't mind stepping away from all of this at all. Like, honestly, I feel really strongly about this, and it's so annoying that it cannot coexist. It really basically cannot. But also, maybe the rules change, maybe perception changes, maybe the expectation changes, whatever. So basically, that's where I'm at. I find myself in a kind of a difficult spot where it's like it does not really benefit me, honestly, too much to be associated even with this kind of stuff. But that's kind of where I was coming from when I began all of this, was that, it was a bit of a rebellious, like, screw the status quo and screw the expectations and the societal stigma, because I'm gonna do this. And it did feel really good going full force into this and never once caring about, letting out my identity or what I'm doing or censoring. It feels really good to, be authentic to yourself. It's just that doing this long enough and, not even that far into it, just even in like the first 20% along this journey, maybe I had lost the concept of what even is authentic, because what even am I trying to portray, and do I even align with that? So again, getting a little wooey here, I think that is a big essence of life, is Carl Jung, this kind of stuff. I was getting into this a little bit on the last video. So where does that lead us? I don't even fucking know. I just don't want to leave everyone hanging. I seriously appreciate that, the Stoned Alone had such a like insane, amazing audience, and it led to a lot of cool adventures where I'd just be like a teenager and I'll just show up to a city, and then people just like show me around. And what I really enjoyed about it was a very small, intimate kind of scale. It wasn't like, I'd be like mobbed by a bunch of people. It's like it would literally be like individual one-on-one. Like, I wouldn't have a lot of viewers, but they would be super into this shit. So like, I'd make some, cool travel videos and stuff, and get the vibes going. And then I would just go to a new city, and then I would post about it. And usually just like one person, would end up meeting. Maybe like 3 people replied. One of them stopped replying. It basically, like, a few people in the city would reply, but then maybe like one actually followed through. And then, there's so many adventures like that throughout the adventure of this channel, where I'd meet with people, and then, and they would just show me around, and they're always super chill. And I think that's another thing with the authenticity is when I really poured my heart into this channel and the videos, the type of people I met were so cool. And that's because the content of the videos was, you know, vibes, basically. It was good vibes. It was what I really liked putting out into the world. And it totally had a reciprocating action where it's like, since I put out videos I thought were, you know, good vibes, then the people I would meet from them were super fucking cool and, like, you know, down to earth. And it was never weird or anything. Like, I actually met with a good amount, and not like a crazy amount, but, you know, at least like a dozen or two people would take me around, and, you know, we would just go exploring and stuff. And so it just goes to say that, like, you know, I really cared about this. It really came from my heart. But my action of being able to step away from it doesn't negate what I loved about it, right? Like, if I don't feel it anymore, and if this isn't really how I feel, like, my personality should be, basically, to step away from this, even though I poured so much in, even though I cared so much, I think is actually a healthy step, instead of trying to grasp on and hang on to something that once was. You know, it's like having a fantastic girlfriend or something. It's like, you know, if it's, you know, if you gotta split, then it, you know, you just walk away. It's like, sure, there was much love there, but it doesn't mean that that wasn't good love, you know, if you have to end up stepping away from it, or if there's not an alignment. Now, at the same time, I don't think I should just, like, give up or, like, end the channel and stuff. And that's something I never wanted to do. I never wanted to give up. And I was thinking, like, you know, I want to be, like, you know, holding on to this until my last breath. Like, I put so much into it. But it's not about even what I put it into. It's about putting your heart into your life, right? So it's like, I fucking love this channel. I love Stoned Alone. But if I don't pour my life into this, that's fine. As long as I pour my life into something, and as long as I'm enjoying what I'm doing. And so that was a fucking big problem with this channel. It's like, I want to make good vibes videos, right? But there's a lot of times where I was just, like, not feeling it. You know, what's funny is, as far as FAA, as far as flying, you literally cannot, like, say that you're depressed or have anxiety. Like, that will literally get rid of people's pilot's licenses. And then, of course, you know, talking about any substances, and the time frame is usually within, like, 2 years. So, like, now I gotta be careful about what I say and stuff, which is annoying, because that was the basis of this whole channel, was that I was like, I don't give a fuck, you know, I'm gonna, you know, do whatever. But it was never also in, like, a trashy way either. You know, when I started this channel, I already had a business. I already was, like, a really good reputation, and, like, you know, like, I started my comeback video with this, you know, over Christmas, when I said, like, where have I been? I got crazy dandruff too. Like, over Christmas, when I was talking about where I'd been all this time, I was starting to dig into this, like, how I even began this channel. Now, the thing is, and again, it's like, you don't want to talk about substances, right? I mean, it's a bummer. I mean, I think there's actually a lot of basis to substances, and a good example is Hamilton Morris, you know, is that his name? He talks about it in a very scientific way, and that's not always the way that substances are perceived. And I also find it really ironic that, you know, alcohol is so prevalent. And, you know, I actually have no problem with alcohol. And I also I never had any dependency problems or abuse problems with alcohol. But, you know, I have a healthy relationship with it. I definitely enjoy, you know, some beer here and there. But I think this is something that cannabis users definitely rejoice on, is how much hypocrisy there is with alcohol, and in the sense that it's not considered a drug by most people, you know, drugs and alcohol, and that, you know, it's very hypocritical that it's so normal. Like, you know, it's crazy normal. You can get it on an airplane, you can get it, you know, you can get it fucking in any supermarket, like, you know, that kids are shopping at or anything. There's no, you know, issue with it. And I don't think there should be. Like, some people are really against it and, you know, oh, you know, alcohol is so harmful that, you know, maybe it should be more restricted. That's not even where I'm coming from. It's just, of course, there's a hypocrisy as far as like treating that as so normal when cannabis is more demonized. Now, at the same time, in the past couple of years, I have been, you know, away from cannabis. And as far as legal reasons, I basically got to say that, like, you know, completely. But, like, you know, really, like, I have been away from it. And it comes to the conclusion that it shouldn't be such a big deal. But also in my personal life, it has actually been very helpful to step away from it. And again, you know, I gotta be careful. Like, I can't even say that, like, you know, I would want to get back into it or anything. But what I will say is Hamilton Morris said the reason why he does not use it frequently is because it starts to degrade his self-regulation of emotions, and then that begins a dependency because, okay, well, I feel good at the end of the day doing it, but then that's actually being dysfunctional in his emotional self-regulation because now he's kind of relying on it for the end of the day relief, and then in a way you're not getting the actual natural emotions and relief and satisfactions out of life because there is this dependency on reaching that enjoyment through the plant itself. Do I think there are people that manage it fine? Yeah, you know, totally, of course. But do I think it's under talked about the negatives of cannabis? Of fucking course, man. I mean, I could talk about previous use for sure. Like, I would say that when I began smoking at like 16, there was already weed tubers. This inspired me to do this. I saw a hole in the market, right? I don't know if I fully actually, you know, made it with that opportunity. I'm sorry for this. I gotta wash my fucking hair, man. I actually like the way it looks when it's oily too, because it, like, I don't put any hair product in it. It's just like naturally shiny, and, you know, when it's really oily it like holds, but Jesus, it's so itchy with like crazy dandruff. Anyways, to say that the reason why I even began, right? I mean, I wouldn't put that on the weed tubers, but the reason why I began using heavily, and the reason why I even started this channel and everything, is because the only knowledge out there as far as weed tubers was they were saying, you know, there's no possible downsides, there's no possible negatives to cannabis use, you know, you take gram dabs. I remember that was like a new thing, you know. Now that doesn't even sound that crazy. Like, yeah, obviously there's videos on the internet of people taking 1 gram dabs, but like, you know, they used to be new. Like, there's Jolioli, right? And then Josh did it, Strain Central, and like, that was a new concept. There was not other people doing that in other videos, you know, as far as, you know, whatever popped up in my suggested feed. But it's very long-winded to say that I had extreme, heavy, and constant cannabis use because it was pitched to me like that would have no possible downsides. Now, were there really downsides? Actually, not really that bad either. I mean, if you put an equivalent to anything else, and especially alcohol, the effects would be much more detrimental. If I drank the way that I did smoke, you know, at that young age, yeah, it probably would have fucked up my health way more. So why am I going into all this negatives and stuff? It's just that it was a new concept to me, let's say, to even step away from it, to even step away from extreme constant use. And so, that's where an answer of moderation would be, quite interesting to talk about. But basically, I'm just saying all this because, like, I just kind of, like, stepped away from it all the last couple years, and, like, I wouldn't say it's, like, I dramatically got happier or anything. It's just that it put a new perspective on, I did not have to, like, do that all the time. And I think a lot of stoners just never even considered that. That's the funny thing, right? It's not like, there's stoners that are like, okay, maybe, I could stop a little bit. It's usually just for financial reasons. It's like a stoner might think, okay, maybe I could stop a little bit because I'm spending so much money. But for a lot of stoners, it's a completely foreign concept. Like, never even once considered that, like, maybe I could, like, stop. And so it is funny that people say it's not addicting, right? And then at the same time, all stoners are like, man, I couldn't go like one day without it. Or I know guys that are like, they won't even travel to a country if they can't have it with them. So again, like, respect. Obviously, I understand it because I created a whole channel and I've been in this community for a fucking 10 years and, put my whole life into it. But then just all of a sudden, I realized, like, it wasn't even that important of a thing in my life for me. The thing is, it was, but I realized, I could probably have other things, or not necessarily better things, but, like, I could probably have other things in my life to focus on other than just the cannabis. And that was a complete foreign concept to me. I'm like, I hadn't thought about that in fucking, like, 10 years. And, that's like, that's like 40% of my life. For, like, nearly half of my life, I literally had never even once considered, well, shit, I'm actually not even, like, satisfied in life. Maybe I could, like, put my attention elsewhere than, perpetuate this. So, it's not where I was expecting to go with the video, but then I didn't have any expectation of where it would go. I do appreciate that people even watch this shit, because from my mind, the stuff that I want to put out is, like, great, well thought out, awesome cinematic stuff. And then what I end up putting out is just me, like, having a personal therapy session. But, there's some merit to that too. I really enjoy shit like this, like I like watching, candid interviews and people talking about, where they went wrong in their life. And I find that truly helpful. And, I'll never stop talking about movies. Like, that's why I really like movies too. Sometimes I just want to watch something dumb like an Adam Sandler movie and, just, like, forget about the pain of life. But a lot of times in movies, it's interesting to watch, like, a different perspective. Like, I'm only dedicating 2 hours to this, but I can see an entire alternate life. I could even consider myself in their shoes. What if I lived in another country? What if I went down a different career path? What if I, focused on this? What if I made that mistake? And that's what I find interesting about movies and YouTube too. I mean, I love movies, but, like, I also really fucking loved YouTube. I mean, I pretty much lived inside of YouTube ever since I was 8 years old. And, ever since it was still more of a small, novel concept. It's like, I'd spent endless hours on YouTube. And even right now, as I study for something really serious and I get my pilot's license, YouTube is fucking coming in clutch always. I mean, whether I want to watch just some dumb shit, or if I want to watch people talking about crypto and making money, or if I want to watch people getting high on the internet, or I want to watch new guns being produced and shot and crazy stuff, like, YouTube is beautiful. And so I guess this is my little contribution to it. Personally, I still feel like it's a little weird. Like, I probably could make something more enticing for the channel. And I guess that's where I'll lead off, is, like, I'm not gonna, like, kill the channel, because that would be whack. And this is 10 years in, and this was my baby, and I absolutely love it. And even the branding and stuff, you know, it's a cool name, Stoned Alone. So I totally am at a loss for like what I do with it now. And you know, it's even feels good to just like say that. Not that it's like some crazy thing to admit, but like instead of being in denial or like trying really hard to you know, make it something that's not, I'll just say it out that like I don't know what I'm doing with this, but like I'm not gonna get rid of it. I appreciate that people stuck around, and you know, I love that, and I like seeing that there's people migrating onto my new shit too. I did not even do my aviation YouTube channel yet, but like I started posting on Instagram because this shit's hilarious. I started posting, you know, day 1 of sleeping on my flight school floor, day 2, now it's day 5. You know, I think this is genuinely interesting. So yes, I fucking love this channel, and I wanted nothing more than to make this the best channel. But like, I'm not one for attachment. Like, I really don't even care, honestly. Like, as long as I feel like I'm doing my best in what I'm doing, then like that's where the satisfaction in life comes from. It doesn't have to be that I already have subscribers on here or trying to build subscribers. It feels fucking awesome starting from scratch. Like there's like 36 followers on Up in the Air soon, so check out my Instagram, upintheair.soon. It's fucking awesome watching it go from absolutely 0, and that's actually getting views. And that's something that never came to me when I was trying to get views. When I was really trying to get views and trying to come up with, you know, strong concepts and stuff, I was just driving myself fucking crazy. But here I am, just sleeping on the floor. I'm just posting short, like 10-second clips of me sleeping on the floor, and that shit's actually getting attention because it's actually interesting. I would like to see that too. If I was an outsider and I saw someone posting that, I would think that shit's hilarious. I totally want to follow along on the journey. So that's to say that, like, you know, that's what I'm doing. I feel deep satisfaction in liking what I'm doing and putting forth an effort. But I always loved being the underdog too. Like, even though I wanted to make the high quality videos, I liked being the small guy. I liked being, you know, the random small channel that like I tried so hard on and made the best videos on. I like that feeling more than actually, you know, making it big. You know, not that I would mind, but like, that always was so much fun to me. That was so much fun to me that, yeah, there's big channels, but like, you know, they don't got the vibes. Like, you know, it's, the vibe is in the underdog fight. And I do really enjoy that. So that's what I'm doing here. I mean, I'm literally sleeping on the fucking floor. I spent all of my money on this shit. I'm not even, you know, it's not even enough, but like, I gotta find some way now. And so I'm enjoying that journey. Like, whereas, you know, when I'm just sitting around the house and I'm just like, you know, like what, you know, where does the satisfaction come from? The satisfaction comes from the fight. And like, that's what I'm doing here. It's like, this is really funny to me. And I'm just like really doing this shit. I'm sleeping on the fucking floor. I'm getting up at 6 a.m. And then I'm just literally here, just studying and flying and studying and flying until it's time to sleep on the floor again. And then get up at 6 a.m. and then study and fly. And like, that's just so funny to me. And, you know, as you can tell, it's like, you know, it kind of fires me up. It's just, it's funny to me that this is even my real life. I feel like I'm describing some like weird, movie, you know, movie plot or something, or some kind of like, you know, underdog, like, you know, montage, sequence. This shit's awesome. I mean, I even had my brother concerned. He's like, yo, like, do you have food? He's like, you know, like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking great, man. Like, sleeping on the floor. Like, you have no idea how much I love this shit, man. I mean, like, you know, I'm obviously partially doing it for the story too, but it's just like, this is better than, you know, what am I gonna do? Spend a bunch of money to rent a room, and I don't even have privacy. I can't even, talk loud, and like I got a whole fucking school here, man. I got and it's free. This shit is so much better than paying for fucking some bed to sleep on. Why would I fucking pay for a bed to sleep on when I could have a school for free and a cool story out of it and good content too? So it just goes to show that I am stoked about something, and I don't even know what this is gonna lead to. That's the problem with this aviation, is this is just the very fucking beginning. I can get my license and I can actually fly around, but it's not like you can get a job with it. Then you got to spend another 5 times as much before you can even legally accept any income. And then and then at that point, it's if anyone even wants you, and then you can start instructing. But when you work at a school like this, then you're basically not even making that much or anything. So it's even with all of the hurdles against, it's I really don't care. It's I just want to fly. And that's what I'm doing. This shit's awesome, man. So many things in life too. It's they say carpe diem, whatever, gotta live life. It is actually tripping me out now that I'm growing older. Cause in all my younger years, I love just sitting on the fucking couch and literally just burning the time away. And I wouldn't say I necessarily regret it, because it's what I chose to do. But I would say that was kind of a problem with the cannabis use. Not that that was the only reason, because I actually, can have the full tendency to sit on the couch even without the cannabis. And then, that's what they say, right? If you're lazy without it, then you'd be lazy with it. I don't know, man. That's the thing about humans. We contain multitudes. It's unbelievable the amount of unlimited potential within every person. And I don't think it's as simple as being a lazy person or not. I think it's extremely tied to what are you even going after? What are you interested in? What are you actually good at? What are you naturally inclined to? What is right in front of you as far as opportunities? It's there's so much to determine a personality and a person's actions, more than just someone being lazy or not. It's it's actually really unbelievable the amount of potential in every person. And it just comes down to what are you going to use that for? What are you actually trying to use that for? What are you interested in using that potential for? And as I start this, it's blowing my mind that it's possible, and it's taking every ounce of energy. But that was energy that I wasn't even using. I was just sitting around moping around, feeling sorry for myself and wishing things were better, but not really going after things. But not going after things because I didn't feel I was really getting all that I wanted out of life. And so that also does come down to emotional regulation and stuff like that. But as I start this, it's I fucking love this. It's I'm wondering, I wish I'm doing more shooting guns too, and driving fucking off-road, and learning to ride dirt bikes and stuff. It's why did I not do that with my life? There's still all that time, and I will do that. But I'm actually starting to grow older and be an adult now. Why did I not do that when I was 20? Oh, because I didn't have enough money? Well, this is because I didn't even fucking try. And I didn't even try because I wasn't getting this kind of satisfaction out of life. So it is funny how when you get older, you get wiser. It's crazy to me now. It's why at 20 did I want to just get high? That's actually so lame. I could have been riding fucking dirt bikes, man. I could have been fucking climbing mountains. Could have climbed fucking Everest and run ultra marathons and stuff. But I chose to fucking get high, and then I imagined that I would somehow get famous and rich off of that on the internet, and then I always felt oh, I'll do those things after I get rich and famous. And it's even more annoying because it is possible, and I watched other people do it, and other people close to me, so then it would just annoy me that oh man, why am I not rich and famous yet? All these other people are. Totally just skewed perspective in life. Now that I'm looking back at it, only now that I'm starting this, only this exact moment as I'm talking to you, this very second, I'm realizing, like, what the fuck am I doing with my life, bro? And not in a sad way of like, oh, what am I doing with my life? Like, bro, what am I doing with my life? I got this fucking moment right here to do whatever the fuck I want, and like I'm choosing to just, sit around and do nothing. And so in that sense, that is the benefit of sleeping on the floor. If I have a really comfy bed right now, I'd probably not even be thinking about this. I would just be thinking, oh, this is so comfortable. But like, since I'm fucking, in this like weird pattern break, it is like a change of perspective of like, my soul is like waking up and being like, yo, what have we been fucking doing, bro? Like, now that we're sleeping on this floor, like, we actually have like a perspective of like, there is a totally different way to go about life. And oh man, that's kind of an issue with life, and that's kind of why we end up being so boring. I mean, I've been so fucking boring, and in different ways, right? There's times of being boring while being able to I'm not even gonna get into that. Like, basically, one of the difficulties is the unlimited potential, the unlimited pathways, just the sheer unlimited paths possible at our fingertips can lead to an indecision, and that is part of the impossibility of life itself as well. Because I'm saying all of this stuff, that's great, and there can be a motivation out of it, but there's also a problem. Like, I can look on Instagram and I see people traveling the world, I think, oh man, why am I not doing that right now? See people living out of a van, oh man, why am I not doing that right now? Well, obviously you cannot do all of them. That is the blessing and the curse of life, because since you cannot do all of them, there is more enjoyment in the choices that you do make, because since you physically cannot be living in all these other countries at the exact moment, I'm not talking about, over time. It's like in this exact moment, you can only physically be where you are right now. You cannot physically be, literally in two places at once. So that is the blessing of life, is that you can enjoy the moment of where you are, because that is that moment. But it's also the curse, because you think, oh man, could be doing this instead, or this instead, or this instead, and this 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 and this, and there's so many that it's like, oh fuck it, I'm not even gonna choose. I'm just gonna watch TV. That's what happens to me. I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna fucking sit on the couch and watch a movie then. Like, I can't even fucking, I can't even decide right now like what to do with my life, because it actually is possible to travel the world. I mean, plenty of people do it for broke, and like there's this one streamer guy I came across that that's exactly what he's doing right now, and I watched that and I'm like, oh man, why don't I do that? Like, I know I could do that. I've been there before. But then there's reasons too. It's like, I actually had explored that, and it's not all it's cracked up to be. That's with any path in life. The only issue is when you do not choose a path. Oh man, I mentioned this in the long form movie, The Stoned Loner. There's a story about the fig tree. Man, do we even have time to like go into this whole... Basically, there's this really beautiful short story. I actually recommend reading it. I know a lot of people don't fucking read. It's like 2 pages, okay? The fig tree is basically saying that, you gotta pick a path and stick with it, because the allegory, right, was that this guy sat under a fig tree. It's getting hot. I gotta take my fucking boots off. I'm like sweating in here. Sweat is a huge problem when you do not have a shower, and that's voluntary because I got this heater. Like, I shouldn't get it this hot. So there's the story of the fig tree, right? Basically, I got a good view. Basically, the story of the fig tree, right, is that there is a guy sitting under a fig tree, and he begins to see his alternate timelines in the leaves that are falling. So he's staring up at this tree, and leaves are falling down, and, they're falling down to the ground. And he looks at every individual leaf, and he sees a different life, and he sees a different pathway. So basically, the whole thing is just that, he's seeing different ways that life could go, It's basically just an allegory for seeing all of the possible different timelines, or you could say alternate realities or whatever. So the moral of the story, though, is that he has to pick one because he's looking at all of these possibilities, he's looking at all the different lives that he could live, at all the different timelines that he could be in, and he does not pick one. And then all of the leaves fall, and now the tree, dies or whatever. Like, there's no leaves left. So basically, it's just a beautiful short story to say that, like, you do have to pick a path. Because if you're looking at all the paths, wow, it's so beautiful. Oh my God, look at all these possibilities. Oh, I didn't pick one. Now I can't pick any because it fucking passed me by. So this is a difficulty I have in life too, and I held on to this one so long. I wanted to be this fucking cannabis influencer, and it would annoy me that I was not already rich and famous, but like then this made me a bitter person. And as a bitter person, it's not like enjoyable to watch that kind of vibe, And then that would annoy me even more because I'm like, I know that like I used to be a good vibe, but now I'm all grumpy, and then that only makes me more grumpy. And then, that would just bum me out. And since I'm bummed out, I'm not like excited about life. And if I'm not excited about life, then there's not fucking anything exciting to film or to make. And so it's just unbelievable to me in this time, in this moment, how much of a contrast I'm feeling, because then this goes back into the authenticity. I feel like strange even posting on here because I'm not authentic to being a cannabis person right now, but I'm authentic to myself because it's like, I'm actually fucking feeling life right now. And it's like so annoying to me how long I went not feeling this amped about life. But it's also the trade-offs, right? You can't have the ups without the downs, right? That's exactly how it works. And so I've been really down, but like in a weird way where it's like, materially I would be fine. Like there's so many things in my life that like on paper were fine. And it's funny how different on paper is from, the reality, right? But yeah, I mean, that's basically all I got for now. Like, I got all sweaty from this fucking space heater, so I gotta go shower in the bathroom with the wet paper towels. If you have not seen the movie Roof Man, I recommend checking that out. I just recently watched that, and now I'm like living that reality. Roof Man is just a trippy. There I go, just throwing adjectives around. It is getting late. I'm just like saying things now. Trippy is not the word for that. It is a very interesting movie, very poignant, and basically it's Channing Tatum in a real story of just go fucking watch Roof Man. Man, I don't gotta explain this whole thing, but I can feel like I relate to the guy right now. It's kind of funny. Now I'm like burning up my voice from all this fucking talking too, so I gotta drink my water, I gotta fucking wash myself down and then sleep on the fucking floor and become a pilot. So that's what I'm gonna do, and I'm feeling good about it. As far as this channel, I think I do have some content coming up. So I had just pitched my boss, Davis, that I create a documentary on him. I think this might actually be a good win-win situation because I want to be a filmmaker. I still never really made a film yet. I would say there's some on here, and I actually do feel really good about them. I really love Days Off. Days Off is like an actual film, man. And it's similar to my situation right now. It's like an underdog story of like, I had to enter an environment that I was not happy about. I had to work some, like restaurant jobs, and I was not happy about it. And that is like such a, such a like spoiled thing to say, because that's like most people just do that. That's like normal for most people just to work like a shitty job. But it just goes to say that like, at that point in my life, I was bummed out that I had to do that. But like it was character building. and it was, in hindsight, like very important, and it was very real. That's the most important thing. It was like so much perspective and like sharpening, you know, my perspective in the battlefield of the mind, because that's what life is about. It's a battlefield of the mind to complete discipline, to deal with bullshit, to deal with the situation that you don't want to be in. Now getting out of it's another story, because, you know, it sucks if you like don't get out of it and you just have to like keep doing that. And then it doesn't feel as noble anymore. When it's just a short period of time that you got to eat shit, it feels much more like being a tourist, and it's like, oh wow, like this is what it feels like to, you know, be uncomfortable. It's kind of like it's like a tourist feeling of like, oh, you know, this is a different perspective. Whereas like if you just live that, then like, you know, that kind of fucking sucks. But you know, people find some way to cope or whatever. So this all to say that at this moment I'm feeling good about life, and I had made this pitch that I will begin shooting this documentary, and that is a win-win because it keeps me employed, because I got to stay employed, and I can actually make a movie out of it, and I don't have to spend my own out of pocket on budget because I spent it all on flight school. I actually would have done that too if I didn't, well, if I had more money, right? If I had more money, or if I didn't do this flight school, I actually would have spent all of my money on creating a feature film this year, and that would actually be, you know, really fun. But that's kind of, you know, it for now. I think that will be an interesting direction, and that is actually revolving around cannabis industry. So I think there might be some way to be win-win-win-win. I don't even have to be a publicly associated cannabis consumer, because it kind of hurts my standing as a professional. But at the same time, I can still actually make content in and around the space. And as far as cannabis goes, I mean, there's much more interesting people than me. Like, I fucking love to talk all day, and I love that people, you know, even like will listen. You know, that's kind of funny that even happens. I'm just like, you know, rambling like crazy. But maybe I can get into some interviews too. Like, I think I might be able to be a good interviewer. I've not really seen much super crazy, like, good content in this realm as far as cannabis. I will say, and that's not to throw shade on podcasts. Like, there's plenty of podcasts in the space, and there's high-level podcasts in the space. But I still don't feel like there's really much, like, in the space of, like, journalism and interviews. Like, Vice is kind of on that territory, but, you know, I don't even really see much of Vice anymore. I actually saw Vice before I ever even started this channel. That was definitely the best cannabis content I'd seen at that time. You know, maybe even till now. Fucking 2 Chainz on Most Expensivest. And then now, it's funny looking back on it, because 2 Chainz Most Expensivest shit was the first cannabis content I ever saw. And it still may be the best, like, honestly. I don't think many people, I don't think there's really that much good content in the space. Here I am, now I'm just talking shit. No, like, I'm just trying to cope, right? I'm just trying to cope with me, not, like, making it. But in reality, yeah, I don't think there's really that much enjoyable content from my perspective of what I want to watch. I don't ever watch any cannabis content anymore because there's nothing I'm, like, remotely interested in. But, you know, that's also because tastes change, and I think the important thing in cannabis content actually is having, like, the smoke buddy, someone to, like, chill with. So in a way, maybe I had strayed away from that, and also it's not something I'm looking for personally in my content anymore. I was also thinking the other day too, it'd be cool to make a trip sitter content where I just, like, sit in the forest for, like, 5 hours and, like, trip sit the camera. and like, you know, maybe talk a little bit, but just like, you know, just like hang out and just like sit around a fire or something. That would actually be kind of cool. Have like a real trip sitting video, and then you could like, you know, trip out to it for like 5 hours straight, or even like 12 hours. I mean, 5 hours would be like the shroom, you know, 12 hours for the acid. That's innovative content idea. I mean, I'm sure there actually is some trip sitting videos online, but that might be something interesting to do. Anyways, just goes to say that I don't want to give up on this. I am in a position though where it's like it actually is touchy. I really actually cannot like be associated with cannabis, which is annoying. And honestly, I probably just, you know, will anyways because I can't help myself. Because I have a different perspective on it now. I could totally do without it in my life, but like in that case, looking at it from another way, it's like there is still important things about cannabis. There still is the stigma, right? There's still absolutely a way to integrate it and to live, you know, integrated with it in. Now I'm just repeating words. I really am fucking tired. There is definitely a healthy way to accept cannabis, and there's definitely a, you know, good way to portray it, and there's plenty of shit like that, you know, along those lines. And so I guess my work here probably is not done, and I probably should have done that anyways. It's like I was always trying to chase what I thought would be appealing to others, but the only important thing is like, you know, what's appealing to myself, saying that as the creator. It's most important that a creator comes from their heart and what they actually believe in. And now it's kind of weird that I'm doing this aviation channel too, because now it's like, you know, how do I split up the content, like what goes where, you know, but that's not something that, you know, anyone in the audience probably cares about, but if they want to help me out with that, then that's great. Basically, this has run on for quite a long time. It is now my bedtime, and I will be getting out of here. But I am excited about life again, which feels good to say. I mean, Jesus, man. Again, I'm not trying to say I had anything worth complaining about. I'm not saying that I had it so bad or that, you know, I was in some harsh situation. But for a very long time, and I can't even state how long, I don't even know how long, but just, I feel good right now. And it's not about even just, you know, feeling good. It's like, I feel like myself, I feel aligned, I feel like I'm alive and I am in life right now. And I'd say that there's a lot of periods of time where it would feel like there's much less direction, and in a troubling and unsatisfying way. I don't think there always has to be direction, and I think that loss of direction leads naturally to where you are meant to end up going. But it's just so much contrast. It's not something I even felt in the moment. It's not that I was necessarily like identified that you know, I wasn't stoked about life. It's just that like in this moment I feel fucking fantastic, and it's showing to me how much contrast that there is, that over a long period of time I'm not sure that I did feel this fantastic. So that's all I gotta say. It's just that like I'm stoked on life right now, and you know, I think I've been kind of through some shit. Again, not even anything specific, not even anything bad. It's just that like I feel much better right now, and I do think it comes from actually you know, going after what I'm interested in. And not everything in life can be that, right? You know, not everything in life can be fully for the passion or what you are interested in. And sometimes that can flip on you, like what happened with this channel. Okay, you know, I'm following my passion, but now I'm doing it so much or making it so much of a job that it's no longer a passion. Now it's just going through the motions and a job. But then again, it's just because you're used to it. And then you go to another situation, or you go to like another job, or, you know, work under someone else, or, you know, whatever, and then it can show the perspective of like, oh man, I actually had it really good. It's just that like I got, you know, so comfortable with it. But it shouldn't all just be about comfort. You know what I mean? I would like to expand on that, but like, I don't have much further to go with that. I really got crazy fucking dandruff, man. It's like, it's pretty crazy. Man, that was quite a load off my chest. Men will do anything but go to therapy, right? I would rather spend all my money on airplane rentals and sleep on a fucking floor and talk to myself in a camera than to go to therapy. But this is way fucking better. You know what's better than therapy? Flying fucking airplanes, man. And, you know, going to therapy could revoke your chance of even getting the license. I never even once considered going to therapy, man. But, you know, that's what this is, so. I gotta check the fuck out, man. I mean, my fucking throat is hoarse. Gotta drink some water. I'm still in this. It's kind of hilarious I'm still in this situation. It really will force me to step up to the occasion and to, like, fully complete my task here. Because the first 5 nights is kind of just funny, it's kind of like a novelty, but at this point it's going to start to be like, okay, you know, I actually got to make this work, I got to complete this, because like I can't just, you know, be sleeping on this floor indefinitely. Okay, I got to get out of here. I mean, it's funny my tendency to do this, I always do this, I just, you know, drag on, but yeah, that's what's going on with life. And that's what it is. So I'm gonna get out of here. Yeah. So appreciate you. I really do. And you know, if you're interested in joining along the journey, check out the aviation stuff. But I don't think I'm gonna be going anywhere. I just gotta find a new direction, right? And that's not something that scares me. That's more exciting than anything. To be like in a position of like, you know, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, do I find that concerning? No. That is, like, way better than knowing what's gonna happen. You know what's better than knowing exactly what's gonna happen? Like, being surprised by how life goes. Being surprised by the direction and the challenge and, like, what's, you know, today gonna bring? What, you know, what crazy direction is life gonna take me that I had no fucking idea about? What kind of crazy adventure am I gonna embark on? That's better than knowing, you know, like, okay, this is exactly what's gonna happen, and like, you know, what's the fucking point in that? Like, what's the fun in that? So I do not know what the direction here is with this, but I got a strong investment in it. I got my soul and my heart invested in this, and I don't know where I'm gonna go with that. Like I said, I got my soul invested in this, as in, you know, I really care about this, and you know, I really have my full dedication and my original passion and my hopes and dreams from when I was younger. I think that totally is priceless too, in a way that really is the soul. But I was gonna make a joke about like, but you know, it's not that I did sell my soul. That's not what I mean by investing it. Obviously, that doesn't even have to be said. Selling your soul is such an interesting phrase. It's a very common phrase too. I don't got time for this shit, man. It's an hour. I gotta get out of here. But that would make a good subject for video, and I always thought that makes a good subject for movies and stuff too, because I think everyone means something a little bit differently when they say that phrase, but it's a very strong phrase and very, you know, telling in life. But Yeah, man. I mean, I think just the idea of the soul is so interesting. I do feel like, it's not that like I ever lost my soul, but like I just feel like I didn't have much a soul that I was putting into my life in the past recent times, and that is from a loss of direction, but there's a totally different kind of loss of direction. Right now, I don't feel like I know the direction because, I'm open to life and I'm open to seeing where it takes me. Whereas previously, I didn't feel like I had a direction because I was bummed by life and I was bummed that, of where I was in it. And I think that kind of low energy is perpetuating. It's like, okay, the more low energy I have and the more grumpy I am, the more it's going to continue. And the more it continues, the less open I am to, changing that, basically. And the more annoyed I am that I even let myself get in that position. It's just like the energy breeds. And, one thing that's really fucking cool about flying is, calm breeds calm. If you're stuck in an emergency situation, if you're fucking, flying in the air and the fucking engine blows out or some crazy emergency happens, you just stay calm. That's what I really like about pilots. Pilots are fucking awesome, man. I mean, and they're all autistic. But the pilots are really cool because it's like, first off, it took so much, input to get to that point. It just, it takes all your money, it takes all your fucking time, it takes all your brain power, it takes all your effort to even be allowed to, like, even touch the controls, to even get up. Okay, that's a little extreme. To even get certified, it takes all of that effort and it takes all of that dedication. And, usually, I was going to say usually pretty humble. I don't even actually know that many at this point. I don't know if that's a true statement. But what I really like about pilots is this ability to stay calm. It's like you're operating this crazy machinery. You're fucking defying the laws of physics and flying through the fucking air and, completely the only one in control of that entire situation. And if an emergency happens, if weather comes up, if all your instruments break, if your fucking engine blows out, the beautiful thing about pilots is it's just totally calm and it's rational. Oh, I fucking love that so much because so many people in life are not, rational. But just, it's just literally just purely checklist. Like, all right, engine's out. Time to go down the checklist. Check this and check this. All right, well, did I try that? It's not like, what do I do? Like that will kill you. And I think that's so fascinating that, like, being a little bitch will kill you. But if you're calm and you're actually, like a Chad about it, if you fucking got balls, then you will survive. Because you'll find out some way. You'll calmly figure out, all right, how do we, go about this? This was not expected, but we'll find a way. Whereas if you freak out and you're a little bitch about things in life, it will spiral out of control and kill you. So that's where I'm going to end this video off. I do feel good about life right now. And it's funny that this happens. I mean, I'm quite a money obsessed person. I would say that. Especially in recent years, I'm just obsessed with, how do I, actually make money? How do I get more money? How do I save my money? How do I make more money? How do I multiply my money? It's in this moment, I feel so good, and I literally spent all my money. And it usually feels that way. I feel like every time I've spent all of my money, like, I actually feel pretty good. It's like a strong release because it's a loss of attachment to it. Now, I still want a lot of money. I still, want to get rich as fuck. But, like, I gotta say in this moment, like, I don't think I've been happier. And, maybe I had, right? But, like, ever since being an adult, ever since being, like, 18, I don't think I have been happier, man. It's a weird realization because it's all of a sudden. But, I just decided. I guess that's a decision too, to be happy. And again, I went on about on the last video about happiness versus content. Like, we don't gotta go into fucking semantics here. Maybe it's not even happy. Maybe it's just that I decided to, be open to life, regardless of if I'm happy or if I gotta fucking grind or if I gotta sleep on the fucking floor, or if I gotta dedicate all my brain power. But I do think that it's also a matter of being away from the cannabis, is that the emotional regulation is completely different. There's no backup or there's no relief of an end of the day substance dopamine release. There's none of that. And I think the detox from that is actually literally what's making me happy in life right now, is because like I'm physically and neurologically, mentally, spiritually, literally, and whatever, I'm fucking throwing adjectives around. I am feeling happy in life right now purely from a completely stone cold, raw dogging life perspective of going through the motions of life, going through the roughness of it, and then as I progress and as I learn, that purely and solely is the actual satisfaction that I'm receiving. And it's something that, of course, people hate getting preachy. People hate getting preached on. So, like, that's not what I'm going to do. I really don't, give a shit about, like, what other people's strategy is for, like, happiness. I'm just saying, man, like, for myself right now, it is the raw dogging of life that is actually allowing me to, like, feel happiness. It's a weird thing to say, but, like, I literally had to, step away and raw dog to, like, actually feel emotions. It's really weird. And this, oh my god, man, I made an Instagram post that said the most gangster thing ever. The most gangster shit ever is doing some math. I fully believe this, man. I had not done math in so long. I had to do math for the weight and balance calculations, which is, a big part of the testing. Dude, I was not expecting this. Like, sitting here, completing a math problem, it was like just the best I'd felt in so fucking long. I finished a math problem, and I'm just actually getting it. It's like, yes, fucking did that shit, man. It's just a fucking math problem, man, but just like absolutely incredible. All right, I'm gonna sign off. I have been getting hungry, man. At least I'm not like I'm like, I got enough bread that like I can at least, buy physical bread. But I've been keeping it pretty light. Like, I just had some ramen and some, like, Walmart microwave chicken today. I got some tuna cans. I'm gonna fucking eat some tuna. I even could eat some more, but, like, that's the thing. It's, like, it's so weird about life. And this is, like, a good thing about camping. I would love to do more camping, too. And, like, nowadays, camping's, like, expensive. Camping used to be cool because it's, like, it didn't cost anything. So that was, like, the appeal. Not that changed, like, you can still go with shitty equipment, but, like, nowadays camping is, like, a luxury fucking thing. You got, like, a $60,000 truck and, got all this crazy expensive stuff. Anyways, I loved camping as a kid. I, like, basically never went as an adult because, I just like the idea of it more than actually doing it. I would love to do more camping. So, in camping and in my situation right now, it's like you just start to realize that you don't need that much. Like, I love the idea that I'm sleeping on the floor here, and I think it's a hilarious story, but, like, it really is highlighting that, as a human, you can adapt to anything. And not just adapt, like, this feels great. It's not that, like, I'm, like, hanging on, like, oh, man, I can make it through the day, like, this shit's pretty cool. Like, you really don't need that much. And I think this may be a difference between guys and girls. I mean, not to make a huge generalization, right? Actually, it would be cool to make some homegirls that, like, are that are into this you know, type of adventure shit. Just to say that, like, I don't need anything but, like, give me some water and a fucking floor to sleep on. Bro, men are simple creatures. Like, I'm good. Like, that's all I fucking need, man. Just get some fucking water and a floor to sleep on. I mean, shit, like, I really don't need that much more. And it happens really fast to adapt. It's like, you know, after a couple days, it's like, you know, I don't even really feel like I'm missing anything here. But like, dude, I gotta just end this here. I mean, in comparison, in my apartment in China, I got my fucking movie projector. I got my king bed. Oh, yeah, that shit is nice. Got the shower. Oh, got the fucking unlimited, super cheap, constant 24/7 food delivery. But just to say that, like, this is putting it in perspective. Because when I'm there, it's like, it doesn't feel like anything special. I'm just like, you know, just like sitting on the couch and stuff, waiting for life to just run out and pass me by. Isn't that funny how being in the absolute most wonderful material situation is when I just felt like the least satisfied, and I literally just want, not that like I want life to end, it's just that like I literally would just sit around and want the day to end, because like I just didn't, you know, feel a satisfaction out of anything, and I just want to, like, you know, basically just run the time out. It's weird to say because it's not like from a suicidal perspective at all. It's really just from like a comfort zone perspective. Whereas here I'm fucking literally on the floor and it's like I'm all stoked and, you know, super, you know, into life and stuff. So isn't life crazy? Isn't life just quite a mystery? You know, what if I just uploaded a video that's like an hour long of just me doing that, just like nodding my head, like, that's such a dumbass idea. I feel like that's some shit that I actually would do just just to see what the reaction would be. What would the title of that video be? Just like, now I want to do that. I gotta go to sleep though. I can't do that for an hour now. That would be so fucking funny if I literally, like, instead of sleeping, I just like sat here and recorded a video for an hour. I'm ridiculous, man. I don't fucking know what I'm doing, bro. It's funny that this is totally self-sabotage too. I wonder why this channel didn't get rich and famous, and this is the type of shit I'm doing. I'm not even trying to make videos that, like, you know, people want to watch. I'm just like being annoying to myself and like talking to myself all the time. Shit is so funny. But you know what is also funny is that AI is getting so good. We're gonna have so many AI generated videos. In a way, it might become appealing to just watch dumbass videos, stuff like this, of me just, like, you know, talking about human problems. This may actually be quite a big swing. I mean, I feel like if I was doing this in, I don't know what a good example would be, maybe like 2017, I don't think this would really count as good content, because that's when people just started doing production value, and that's what I was trying to do, you know. I'm gonna go on the record and say I was the first WeedTuber to go full 4K. I've been 4K since 2017, you know. I just gotta, you know, I just gotta have some bragging rights, right? You know, it just makes me feel better about my decisions in life. But anyways, I feel like this type of shit is not that interesting in 2017. This is like, you know, kind of like low-end content, because that's when we're starting to get 4K, when we're just starting to get the Sony A7S II. Bro, I fucking love that camera, man. So it was fresh. It was fresh for content to be highly produced. And I mean, I loved being on that wave too. And it really felt empowering too, that one individual could make a highly produced image quality that previously would take fucking tons of budget and tons of teams and shit. Like, the fact that that was brought into the hands of the individual was absolutely game changing. And if we want to go back far enough, that totally started with Canon, when Canon came out with the Canon 5D, because they had a big separation in cinema cameras and with photo cameras. Now, photo cameras were prosumer. They're very expensive, but the consumer and the journalists and stuff could afford it. Whereas cinema cameras were extremely price gouged so that only production teams and shit like that could buy it. But they put video functionality into the Canon 5D because there were journalists, you know, covering the Afghanistan or Iraq or whatever the fuck, that wanted to get little video clips. And these were already the best photo cameras, you know, basically on Earth. I mean, we're talking fucking National Geographic, you know what I'm saying? Like, magazine publications. That's what people were shooting with the Canon 5D. Just absolute beautiful image quality. Nowadays, Canon is like not on top anymore, but I will always remember them for being the top dog. You know, let's talk 2000s, 2010s, early 2010s. So Canon put video functionality into the 5D, and they changed the world forever. I'm not even fucking playing. I mean, I'm talking like if you're into cameras, you probably know what I'm talking about. Otherwise, if you're into YouTube, what I'm saying is, you watch YouTube from fucking, like, let's say, like 2012 to 2015. If you're seeing beautiful image quality, it's because Canon brought that to the consumer. Now, why did they do that? They made a mistake. Previously, they only had cinema cameras in the crazy $40,000, $50,000 range, and they had the C100C. No, C100. The C100 is a big ass fucking camera, right? And it's a chunky. And I think the colors would probably still hold up well now, but it's super outdated compared to like a Sony A7S III or something. So basically, a huge lecture about how camera quality was brought to the hands of the YouTuber and the consumer. And if you ever watched Casey Neistat, Canon 80D, right? But here's how this happened, was because Canon did not want consumers to be able to buy cinema cameras. Why? Because production companies are giving them fucking 50 racks, giving them 100 racks for a video camera. Obviously, if you can make $100,000 off a video camera, then you're gonna charge $100,000. And the reason people would buy them is, let's say, like a reality TV show. If you're watching Real Housewives or some shit, or like, you know, the Jersey Shore, they need good cameras. So they'll pay $50,000, $100,000 for a fucking camera because it's in the production budget. So they don't want the normal person to be able to do that. But the normal person can buy an image camera because it's competitive. You got Nikon, you know, you got basically everyone else's relics, right? Like, I don't even know, Pentax, I don't even know if they have a modern presence. But if anyone can go and buy a Nikon, then Canon has to compete on price. So a normal person can buy a camera for images from Canon, and those were like the 5D. Now, these are still expensive. These are still like, you know, $3,000, $4,000. But it changed with the journalists. Okay, now the journalists are in Afghanistan. They gotta capture a video clip. I mean, what, you're gonna fucking deprave them of the chance to get this once-in-a-lifetime footage while out on the field? So Canon put the video functionality in. But what they didn't anticipate was the image quality was already so fantastic from the world's best photo cameras. You know, we can argue Canon, Nikon. Personally, you know, Canon is just unbelievable. And of course Leica's up there, but like let's say for the actual person, the actual journalists, the actual photographers, and I'm repeating parts of the story now, but like they put video in because it was needed, because people are out on the fields and there's no other choice. If you want to get video from a journalist in Afghanistan, you're just going to have to put video into their existing camera. But this changed the world forever, because now you can buy the best image camera for a close to affordable price, and now they put video in it, but the image quality was already so fantastic that now the video quality is fantastic as well. And they never anticipated this, and in a way this kind of like killed Canon. This is kind of the beginning of the end for them, because they opened up a Pandora's box. They started something that they did not anticipate themselves. So Canon just started producing the best fucking vlog cameras out of a complete mistake. They only wanted the average Joe to buy a photo camera, and then production companies to buy their expensive cinema cameras. But now the cat's out of the bag. Now you can get high image quality from the Canon 5D Mark II. And personally, that's like the stuff I started seeing. I started watching, Devin Supertramp on YouTube, and there's all kinds of creators that were getting super high fucking quality video from the Canon 5D Mark II. Oh my god, I wanted that camera so bad as a kid. I had this visualization so strong. I imagined as just like a little kid, oh my god, imagine like being in Europe, sitting at a coffee shop with a coffee in front of you and a Canon 5D Mark II. Now, I didn't end up with the Canon, but I think I got one better. I got the fucking Blackmagic. Anyways, long story short, but it just feels good to share a little piece of history there. I did drag the story out too long, but like I think I'm just getting kind of tired now. But I think that, this, it's fun knowing just random little bits of trivia like that, because I don't think that's something that everybody knows. And it changed the world forever, because, how did I become a videographer? Because Canon had video. When I bought my Canon T3i, that shit was only like $330. And then I had someone tell me on like Snapchat the other day that they thought that like my parents bought me the camera. It's funny, these kind of distinctions, because it doesn't even matter one way or the other, and people won't even remember or care. But it just like irked me, because I remember saving up so hard for that. I was like 15 years old, and I think my dad must have put in maybe like $100 as a birthday gift. So that would be 1/3 of the camera. And then I got the Canon T3i, which that was the camera for beginners. Oh my god, man. I have so much just pure love for this whole start. I think that's the whole thing with, my difficulty with this channel too, is like, I just had kind of lost the passion in it for this, but it was my own damn fault. It's not like I lost the passion for creating. It's just like I myself stopped being true to what made me excited. And the more I did that, then the less excited I am, and the more, difficult it is to proceed, because it's just like not coming from the right place. But man, getting my first camera, like, just like, that's what life's about, man. I mean, like, I could get like emotional about this shit right now. Like,